Comic Revolution now. Today we're reviewing, this is actually a pretty epic review because we're doing a combined review. We're reviewing the Minions Rise of Gru movie, which is very epic. And then we're doing a duo review where we're combining the movie review with the soundtrack review because, believe it or not, the Minions Rise of Gru soundtrack had a lot of hype. A soundtrack for a kids movie having a lot of hype. You're like, why is Minions Rise of Gru soundtrack having a lot of hype? Well, what if I told you that it's the soundtrack features artists ranging from Pheobe Bridgers to Weyes Blood to Thundercat to RZA of Wu-Tang Clan to Carolyn Polachek to St. Vincent. I think a soundtrack that epic in a review as epic as this one, because it's a combined review, deserves the mushroom hat. It's not rare. It's very rare I pull out the mushroom hat, but when we have a duo epic review of the Minions content, of course, we're doing the mushroom hat. Let's buckle up. Let's just, you know what? I'm going to start by reviewing the soundtrack, and then we'll move on to the movie, because I have a lot to say about both. So let's start by taking a look at the album artwork of the Minions Rise of Gru soundtrack. I took the mushroom hat off because it was getting way too hot. It's 1,000,000 degrees in the summer. Anyways, okay, so the artwork, yes, that's what we're doing. The artwork. It's just a cute little cartoon of, what's the guy's name? Gru? Is that Gru? Gru and his minions. Oh my goodness. And I claim to be a Minions fan when I forgot the main character's name, even though it's literally the movie. I don't have anything to say about, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you folks. I'm gonna cut the chase. This soundtrack, even though it has all your favorite indie artists on it, combining together to do covers of classic fun songs on a Minions movie where they have a lot of opportunity to get creative and incorporate funny Minions sounds and all sorts of funny bits like that, is frankly just a complete and utter mess. Most of this album, if not all of this album, is just a bunch of covers. Like, they're covering classic songs from 80s, 70s, whenever, and they're literally just there's like no creativity whatsoever. It's just like they're basically just doing like a clone of the original version and making it worse. Like, no one wants to listen to a cover that's worse than the original version, or at least, maybe it can be worse, but at least it'll have like a twist to it. The artist doing the cover brings their own charisma to it. There's nothing like that, which is mind-blowing. It's just jaw-dropping, and believe it or not, watching the movie, the majority of the songs on this album, they didn't even put in the freaking movie. I didn't even know that was legal. How are you allowed to advertise a soundtrack as a soundtrack for the movie, and then you don't even put most songs on the soundtrack in the movie? Not only that, they actually included the original songs that are being covered in this mixtape, in this soundtrack, even though they hired, you know, Weyes Blood or someone to do a cover of a song. They wouldn't even do the Weyes Blood version. They would do the original that Weyes Blood was paid to cover. And then they put that in the movie, and it's like, what the heck? They did that multiple times. And then there was like, I heard like RZA's instrumental hip-hop song there for like 3 seconds. So maybe there was like bits of like little instrumental sections of this album, this soundtrack that was like put in the movie. But it's just a huge bait and switch. And then we have YEAT's song, Rich Minion. That wasn't even in the soundtrack album, let alone the movie version. So it's like, what's going on with there? Why do you have an album of a bunch of soundtrack songs, and then you don't put it in the movie? And then you have YEAT's version, which you don't even put in the album. That's not even going in the movie. So even if you don't want to put YEAT's song in the movie, you could still put it in the album. It doesn't make sense. Maybe they didn't want to endorse YEAT because he sings about, you know, partying and such. But that would have actually been really helpful to the soundtrack. Okay, you know what? I'm done. You get the point. It's just like, it's a bait and switch trick. It's a smart marketing plan because, you know, if you have a budget of tens of millions of dollars to advertise a movie, dropping like $50,000 on an album with all these trendy artists, that's going to get a lot of people, such as myself, to want to come out to the movie. And then you go to the movie and these songs are not even in the freaking movie. It's just, how is that legal? I don't know. Is that legal? Can a lawyer tell me, is that legal? Can you do that? Now, the movie I have a lot more nice things to say about, because the movie, I really, really had a lot of fun watching. I think a lot of people are going to watch this movie and just really, like, be bored of it. Like, I don't know. I went with a friend who's my age, and they were sleeping a lot through it, which is understandable because it's literally, like, a really simple movie with a really simple plot. But I'm going to be honest with you. I really like body humor. You know how like there's the genre body horror where they just like cut up bodies? Well, Minions is body humor, where you get to see a minion's butt flash 1,000,000 times, and you get to watch minions beat each other up and be thrown through walls and go, happy dibba. It's literally the most juvenile humor you could possibly imagine. I'm someone who really likes that kind of humor. I love humor that's just a bunch of people slapping each other and going, bleh. So that's the whole movie for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't know how long. I think the first 30 minutes of the movie are just phenomenal. A lot of the minion humor, I don't want to spoil, literally like had me like laughing like really hard because of just how stupid the minions are. The minions are speaking like a combination of gibberish and Spanish, which to me, I don't know, like, I feel like if you're a child, you can actually understand what the minions are saying fluently. I think anyone watching can understand what the minions are saying fluently because of context clues. They do include some Spanish in there, and I think a lot of people, especially like in America, already know a little bit of Spanish. So you can kind of make it what they're saying, but I feel like as kids especially can like, not only can they figure out what the minions are saying through context clues, I think kids can literally understand minions fluently. Like every single word, that's my theory. There'd be a moment where like a minion would be like talking or whatever, and then all of a sudden just like punch another minion in the face or something like that, which is objectively funny, but you'll hear a kid like in the background of the theater go, like laughing really hard, which I love, by the way. I love going to a movie theater and it's packed with kids and they're all freaking laughing their ass off. Wholesome 6-year-olds laughing like dangerously aggressively at minions beating the crap out of each other. I thought it was hilarious. Very simple plot, very stupid dumb humor. If you need a compelling plot and you need a little bit more interesting humor than just a bunch of yellow minions slapping each other around and acting stupid, this is not a movie for you. I think a lot of people are not gonna like this movie. If you are someone who really appreciates the good old-fashioned classic dumb childish humor, and you like the sound of kids in a theater laughing, and I don't know, I just like animated movies. I'm a simple guy like that. For me, I loved it. But, the plot did get probably 2/3 of the way in. The plot did get a little slow, I will say. There was it got very predictable. It was very obvious what was going to happen in the last 45 minutes. And then it just took like an extended amount of time for it to play out. And it's just like, okay, let's get this show on the road. We know what's going to happen. The minions are going to save the day, blah, blah, blah. And then when it gets that predictable, even me who appreciates the funny body humor, it gets a little boring because it's like they have to like do things in the plot to like move the plot forward in a way you already know what's going to happen. It's like, stop talking about the plot. We know what's going to happen. Just make it go happen faster so we can go back to the minions rolling around and flashing their ass and making funny noises. That's all I want to see. I just want to see a bunch of yellow little thumbs in overalls, in denim overalls with goggles, blowing their tongue and making fart sounds and shaking their ass and being funny. That is the Minion grind set. And they should have put YEAT in it. I'm gonna blame Jack Antonoff because he produced this album. Jack Antonoff, how do you screw up this badly? When you have the opportunity to make a Minions soundtrack, that is like the funnest opportunity for any musician in the freaking world. And then you literally make it boring? How do you make a Minion soundtrack boring? The St. Vincent Funky Town, that's just crap. I liked the Thundercat song, I guess, but that's just like, it was a very generic Thundercat song with the funky bass with effects and his falsetto singing. A pretty generic Thundercat song, but a generic Thundercat song is always kind of fun, while generic covers by Caroline Polachek are not fun. I don't know, folks. What the flip happened here? When the movie is somehow better than the soundtrack, and the soundtrack includes all these fantastic artists. So soundtrack, I'm giving like a 2 out of 10. Movie, I'm giving a 7 out of 10. Movie, I love the humor. I love the minions. I loved Gru. I love the characters. The characters did feel pretty, based on like a bunch of stereotypes, which is kind of sad because they made a lot of the characters were very shallow. But it's a shallow-ass movie. If you don't like shallow movies, you're not gonna like it. If you can appreciate a shallow movie, if it has a bunch of little yellow guys farting, they're not farting, playing with each other's butts, you're gonna love it just like me. Way better than Lightyear. IMO, I did not like Lightyear. Alrighty, folks. Thanks so much for watching. We need to figure out, I have a feeling YEAT was trolling us. Maybe YEAT had literally nothing to do with this project and he trolled us by dropping a song that was Minions themed. That song actually had more Minions play than any of the soundtrack songs. So maybe YEAT was trolling us, and he did a good job trolling because that song did get a lot of attention, and it's honestly pretty hilarious. So shout out to YEAT for outmaneuvering all these artists with a little tricky troll, and outmaneuvering the Minions studio. So epic job, YEAT. YEAT's the real MVP. Along with Otto, my favorite minion. Go watch the movie if you have a kid. They're going to love it. If you are a kid on the inside, you're going to love it. And if you're a pretentious D-bag who can't appreciate little yellow guys shaking their butts and making funny noises, then you're going to not like it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Punk Revolution. Mini boss. Punk Revolution now.